Before she was fired, Clara Bishop had uncovered a name. One name, enough to make her boss panic, enough to make her disappear from newsrooms forever. The story begins with a flashback to the past, where Clara Bishop, an experienced journalist from Madison in her 50s, sits in her small, dimly lit apartment. The walls are adorned with old files, newspaper clippings, and photographs pinned to a corkboard. The lens lingers on one photo in particular, a faded image of the missing black girls, some of whose faces are hauntingly familiar. Clara has been investigating their disappearances for years, chasing leads and uncovering fragments of information. But each time she thought she was close to the truth, someone would pull the rug out from under her. Her search has become an obsession, one that's cost her dearly. One day, her editor, a man she once trusted, walked over to her desk with a stern expression. He was followed by a couple of suited men, individuals who were clearly part of the same corrupt system she had been investigating. It was then that Clara's world collapsed. Her editor, once her mentor, told her she was making too many enemies and needed to let the story go. But Clara refused. She knew that the truth had to come out. Yet despite her resolve, she was fired and escorted out of the newsroom, her career and credibility shattered. That day, Clara lost her job, but she didn't lose her resolve. The fight was far from over. Later that day, Clara receives an anonymous text that pushes her toward a new lead, an urgent meeting with someone who claims to have the information she needs to bring down Mercer, the name that has appeared time and again in her investigation. She arranges the meeting at a quiet park bench, hoping it's not another dead end. When she arrives, she was surprised to see who she's meeting. 6 months earlier, Lena, a pretty black woman in her 30s with natural hair, stands in the school parking lot, fumbling for her keys as the same Confederate flag truck rolls by again, slower this time. She freezes, breath fogging in the cold air, fingers trembling as they fail to grip the keys. The engine hums low and deliberate, like a growl with patience. Her eyes scan the road, then the shadows between parked cars. Every vehicle feels like it's watching. She doesn't move until the truck disappears. It's the third time this week. No words, no confrontation. Just the same truck, the same silence. A kind of stalking masked in plausible deniability. Lena wasn't just nervous. She was afraid. She'd been harassed, threatened since she first took the teaching job here. She tells herself it's nothing, but now she drives with one hand always near her phone, even though she knows no one would answer at this hour. That night, avoiding the main road, she takes back routes through thick woods and ghost towns, headlights struggling against the mist. Everything beyond the beams feels like it's waiting. Her phone has no signal. A roadside sign flashes by. Welcome to Mercer County. Proud since 1862. The message is clear. This land doesn't forget who built it, or who doesn't belong. She pulls into an eerily quiet gas station, empty except for one dusty pickup parked beneath a flickering light. It's Daniel's. She barely notices him until he taps on her window, making her jump. He's holding a flashlight, smiling kindly. "You okay?" he asks, as if he already knows she's not. Lena hesitates. "Just low on gas," she whispers. He pumps it for her, insists on paying. "My daddy always said, help a lady out if you can," he says with a soft laugh, like it's all a sweet coincidence. But it feels too timely, too polished. That night, she books a motel room 2 doors down from his. She lies awake, listening to every footstep in the hallway. When she finally drifts off, her dreams are filled with tires crunching gravel and eyes that never blink. They start running into each other. The diner, the farmer's market, church, always casual, always smiling. But it feels too neat, like she's been folded into someone else's script. He brings her pies from his family orchard and remembers her favorite flavor. She tells herself it's just kindness, just human decency. When she finally confides in him about the harassment she's faced, he doesn't flinch. He listens carefully, almost like someone cataloging pain. Present, attentive. When he offers his home as a safe place, it sounds like salvation. "I'm not like them," he says one night under a sky so still it feels like time is holding its breath. He brushes a curl from her face, his touch soft, but her chest tightens. You don't have to be scared anymore. It's everything she's longed to hear, and somehow the scariest thing anyone's ever said to her. But what if the man offering her safety is the one she needs saving from? They marry in a quiet ceremony beneath the orchard trees. No guests, just whispered vows shared between breath and wind. The trees don't clap, the land doesn't rejoice. But Daniel smiles like he's won something. Lena tells herself it's love, that safety is enough, but something inside her stays alert, watching, waiting. Back in the present, Lena's bare feet slap against the cold earth as she runs, lungs burning with every breath. She doesn't scream. She knows no one would come, or worse, they would. Daniel lowers the shotgun slightly, his voice calm and steady. The mask is off now, but his tone still drips with southern politeness. "You could have lived a peaceful life, Lena," he says. "Why'd you have to snoop?" It all began 2 months after the wedding. The orchard is quiet in the mornings, too quiet. Lena walks between the trees barefoot, the dew chilling her skin. At first, she thought the silence meant peace. Now it feels like surveillance, like the land itself is holding its breath. She teaches online now. Daniel said it was safer that way. No more small-town gossip, no more stairs in the teacher's lounge, no more trucks circling the school parking lot. But she misses the chaos, the messy noise of real life. Here, everything is curated, quiet, predictable, and lonely. Daniel brings her breakfast every morning, homemade biscuits, local jam, strong coffee. He says he wants to take care of her. "A woman like you shouldn't have to lift a finger," he murmurs, kissing her forehead with the same soft smile. Every gesture feels like a velvet chain. A week later, she notices the cameras, tiny ones, nestled in corners, near the barn, by the front door, even in the hallway near their bedroom. "Just for safety," he explains when she asks. "People out here, they talk. You're not from around here." She wants to believe him, wants to believe the world outside is more dangerous than the one she's living in. One evening, she finds a door she hadn't noticed before, half buried beneath the cellar steps. It's locked, heavy, industrial. She runs her fingers over the hinges, polished, recently oiled. "Storage," Daniel says when he catches her staring. "You don't need to worry yourself about all that." But the way his smile falters, that's new. The first crack in the porcelain. Her dreams begin to shift. No more trucks, no more faceless threats. Now it's Daniel's voice echoing in her ears, whispering things he never said. Or maybe he did. "You're safest when you're still. Silence is love. A good man protects what's his." One night, she tries to call her sister. The call doesn't go through, then her phone disappears. Daniel says he must have misplaced it while cleaning. He offers her a new one, but it only calls him, just until we get the signal fixed. He takes her to church on Sundays, their only outing. The congregation greets her with smiles too wide, eyes too curious. No one ever asks her anything. They just nod, like they've already heard everything they need to. Back at the orchard, Daniel starts reading to her at night, passages from old Southern novels, stories about tradition, about loyalty, about women who knew their place. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" he whispers. "The way they loved back then?" She nods, because anything else might not be safe. One night, she wakes to find him sitting beside the bed, watching her sleep. He's holding a letter, one of hers from her journal, pages ripped out. "You don't trust me," he says quietly. His voice doesn't shake. "That hurts, Lena." She doesn't move, barely breathes. He folds the page, sets it down, and kisses her temple. But love forgives. The next morning, the door to the cellar is gone, covered over with drywall, like it never existed. 3 weeks later, Lena waits until Daniel drives into town. He always takes the long route, says he likes the view. She uses the time like a thief. First, she checks the attic. There's nothing but dust, old photo albums, and one small box. Inside it, a childhood Bible, worn thin at the edges. A Polaroid of Daniel as a boy, standing in front of a flag she thought he didn't believe in, and a pendant with a symbol she doesn't recognize. But it coils in her gut like something poisonous. She digs deeper. In the barn, beneath loose floorboards, she finds folders, dozens, each one labeled with a woman's name, each one sealed. Hannah, Chloe, Nadine, Melissa, names she's never heard Daniel speak. Inside each folder, photos, letters, hair. Lena stumbles back, gagging. The orchard feels darker now, less like a sanctuary, more like a mausoleum. That night, Daniel returns early. She hides the folder she kept, Chloe, under the floor vent in the bedroom. He doesn't say anything about her flushed cheeks or trembling hands, but he doesn't smile either. You know what makes trees grow strong? He asks over dinner. Deep roots, roots that don't run. He never looks up. That night, Lena dreams of women clawing through soil, their hands bloodied, their mouths sewn shut with vines. She wakes up screaming into a pillow. In the morning, she types Chloe Jefferson into the search bar on the new phone Daniel gave her. No results. She tries Hannah Ross, Melissa Keene, nothing. She's about to give up until she searches Nadine Wilkes. A forum post appears. My sister moved to Mercer County in 2015, married a man named Daniel. She stopped answering calls, vanished. If you know anything, please. The post is 6 years old, unanswered. The cellar door is still gone, but she remembers where it was, and she has a crowbar. It takes hours. Drywall cracks, wood splinters. Her hands bleed. Finally, she pries it open. The air that escapes is heavy, metallic, old. A staircase spirals down into silence. She descends. Each step creaks like a warning. At the bottom, a concrete room, a single bulb swinging. Along the wall, photos. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Lena's face captured in every season. Smiling, reading, crying. Documented, preserved. On the floor, a recorder, still warm, still running. Suddenly, footsteps above. The door slams shut. The lock clicks. Lena pounded on the cellar door, her hands bruised and bloodied, each strike more desperate than the last. Her screams were useless, swallowed by the thick concrete walls. No answer. Just the low mechanical hum of the recorder still spinning on the floor. She picked it up with trembling fingers and hit rewind. Daniel's voice filled the silence. Calm, cold, practiced. Day 43. She likes poetry. Keeps reading Maya Angelou at night. I think that's the soft spot. She responds to kindness, not pressure. I'll push a little more next week. Another click, another entry. Day 102. She still doesn't know about the others. I moved the files from the attic to the barn. Can't risk another mistake like Chloe. Lena dropped the recorder. It clattered across the concrete, echoing like a body hitting the floor. Upstairs, Daniel sat at the kitchen table. The same Bible from the attic lay open in front of him. He whispered scripture, not as prayer, but as memorization. His eyes were vacant, laser-focused, like a man rehearsing judgment. Slowly, methodically, he rose from the table. Back in the cellar, Lena scanned the walls with frantic eyes. Scratches marred the surface, tiny grooves in the concrete, fingernails maybe, initials, a tally of days or months. Then she spotted it, a vent, small but loose. She clawed at it with the edge of her shoe until it popped free. A faint draft kissed her face. Behind the vent, a tunnel, crude, dirt-packed and stretching into darkness. She didn't hesitate. She crawled. Every inch forward felt like being buried alive. But she pressed on. She had to. Behind her, the cellar door creaked open. Daniel's voice echoed down the tunnel, oily and composed. Lena, you should have let things be. You were happy. She didn't look back. She emerged in the orchard. Night cloaked the trees in shadows, a heavy fog wrapping around the branches like ghosts. A faint glow bled from the barn ahead. Limping, breath ragged, she pushed forward. Inside the barn, she spotted it, the old radio she remembered from months ago. With trembling hands, she twisted the knob. By some miracle, it sparked to life. She dialed the emergency frequency. Please, if anyone's out there, my name is Lena Carter. I've been held captive by my husband. His name is Daniel Blunt. The barn door exploded open. Daniel stood there, shotgun raised. You made me do this, he said, voice low and loaded. You brought your darkness here, your paranoia. You poisoned everything. He stepped closer. Click. The shotgun cocked. I cleaned up this town. They wanted me to. You think you're the first one who thought they could change Mercer County? Then, flashing lights in the distance, red and blue, sirens. Daniel hesitated. Lena, covered in dirt, blood, and terror, stood her ground. Run, she told him, but he didn't move. Instead, he lowered the shotgun and smiled. They're not here for me, sweetheart. The officers stormed in. One of them yanked Lena to her feet, roughly with practiced indifference. Too smooth, too rehearsed. She locked eyes with him. Recognition. The same officer who used to tip his hat at the diner. The same badge that ignored her report when she said someone was following her. "You're coming with us, ma'am," the officer said, tight-lipped. Daniel nodded at him like an old friend. No cuffs, no resistance, no panic. Just another shift. Lena opened her mouth to scream, but no sound came. As the patrol cars rolled away into the fog, Lena sat locked in the back seat, mute, frozen. She watched Daniel's face fade in the rearview mirror, still smiling, still calm. She whispered, more to herself than to anyone else, it was never just him. Lena isn't taken to a police station. She's dropped off at a wellness facility outside town. Barbed wire fencing, smiling staff, and no phones. The kind of place rich families use to erase scandals. "You've had a mental break," the nurse says sweetly. "Your husband is worried. So is the sheriff." Lena is medicated, watched. The staff speak to her like a child. Her room has no locks because no one leaves. She starts to doubt her own mind, until she finds the hidden wing, where other women whisper her name through vents. "You're the teacher, from the news. They said you ran off." Late one night, Lena fakes taking her meds and slips out under cover of silence. The administrative office is dim and sterile. There, in a locked cabinet left slightly ajar, she finds them. Files. Dozens. All women. All with brown or black skin. Each stamped with the same cold label. Disturbed. Delusional. Unfit. She turns the pages. Chloe's name is there. So is someone named May. Attached to both, photographs of bruises, police reports that were never filed, complaints buried, testimonies dismissed. This place isn't for healing, it's for erasing. Her breath trembles, but her hands don't. She steals the files, folds them carefully, hides them in the lining of her shoe. Lena has spent weeks pretending, smiling for the staff, letting pills dissolve under her tongue, nodding during therapy. She's earned trust, extra yard time, unsupervised showers, kitchen access. She times everything. Behind the staff room, she finds a maintenance corridor, rusted, forgotten, but it leads to the back fence. Then comes the perfect night, rain hammering the roof, thunder muffling every sound, a guard scrolling his phone. Lena runs, hands rip open on the fence. Barbs tear her dress, her breath catches. Then she drops on the other side. Freedom, headlights snap on. Daniel's truck, no shouting, no chase. Just him, stepping out with an umbrella, calm as Sunday morning. "You almost made it. You're getting better at pretending. I'm proud of you." Two men in scrubs step out, no words. A needle, darkness, aftermath. Lena wakes in a padded room, wrists bruised, the soft hum of jazz floating through hidden speakers. A new therapist enters. Woman, calm, maternal, too calm. "We're going to start fresh, Lena. You've experienced a lot of confusion, but this place is for healing." Behind her, Daniel emerges from the shadows, silent, watching, then softly. "You really thought I loved you? Lena? Me? With you? You were just another story I told myself. A little project. I wanted to see if someone like you could be rescued." He shrugs, smiles faintly. "But you ruined it. You always do." The therapist rests a gentle hand on Lena's shoulder. "It's important to separate reality from delusion, sweetheart. Let's take this one day at a time." Lena stares straight ahead, eyes blank, but deep inside something stirs. "He's trying to erase me, but I remember everything." Daniel lingers in the doorway. "You had your chance, Lena. You could have been safe. Now, you'll learn the hard way." The door closes. Lena doesn't scream, doesn't cry. She begins counting the ceiling tiles. 1, 2, 3, planning again. Weeks pass. Lena falls back into her routine, calm, compliant, emotionally dulled by medication. But beneath the fog, her senses sharpen. She begins to observe everything. The rhythm of the shift changes, the pattern of the guard's steps, the subtle hesitation in certain staff members' eyes. That's when she notices Amira, the quiet intern, young, unassuming, but with eyes that flicker with something unspoken. She's too observant for her own good. During a supervised walk in the courtyard, Amira brushes past Lena and slips a crumpled piece of paper into her jacket pocket. Later that night, beneath her blanket, Lena unfolds it with trembling fingers. Her heart pounds like it did back in Mercer's cornfields. The note reads, I know who he is. Don't trust the therapist. I'm watching out for you. For the first time in a long time, Lena doesn't feel completely alone. Days later, during a quiet night shift, Amira meets Lena in the laundry room under the mechanical hum of washing machines. Her voice is low and urgent, her hands folding uniforms that aren't hers. My great-grandmother marched with the original Freedom Riders. My grandfather organized sit-ins in Alabama, got arrested 7 times before he turned 25. My parents, lawyers, sued a school board in Georgia for covert segregation, and won. Her hands tremble slightly, but her voice stays steady. I didn't come here for credits. I came to find what the system buries. Then she looks Lena in the eye, unwavering. You're not the first, but maybe you can be the last. Lena is summoned for her weekly progress evaluation, but this time, when she enters the room, Daniel is already seated, smiling like a man who's never been caught. His arm is slung lazily over the back of his chair. Dr. Hines sits across from her, and Amira is present too, silently taking notes, her expression unreadable. Daniel begins, his tone dripping with false warmth. I wanted to be here. I thought it might help her. Remember who she used to be? He chuckles to himself. You know, sometimes I forget she actually believed someone like me would marry her out of love. The room goes still. Lena doesn't move, doesn't blink, but her nails are digging into her palms. Daniel leans forward slightly, lowering his voice into something intimate and sinister. You made me your monster, Lena. But I was the best thing that ever happened to you, and you know that. Dr. Hines watches closely, searching her face for a crack in the mask. But Lena stares straight ahead, blank, unreadable. Amira's pen pauses, just for a second, then resumes. Sharp, intentional. She's watching everything. Later, Lena finds a worn copy of Jane Eyre on her bed. Inside the cover, scrawled in red ink, is a message. Tunnel access under West Wing Laundry. Shift change at 1:45 a.m. I'll be there. Inside the book, a map, coded and hand-drawn, has been hidden among the pages. Lena clutches it like a lifeline. She realizes this isn't just an escape plan. It's Amira's rebellion, her inheritance. And Lena? She's no longer just a patient or a victim. She's about to become the spark. 1:43 a.m. The hallway hums with a low fluorescent buzz. One light flickers, casting intermittent shadows across the floor. Lena waits in the silence, heart racing in her chest. Then Amira appears, calm but visibly tense, dressed in her intern scrubs. She whispers, "We have 2 minutes before the hall camera resets. Move fast." They move swiftly into the laundry corridor. Amira swipes a stolen keycard and leads Lena past the rows of industrial machines. She kneels and pries open a concealed floor panel behind one of them. "Emergency maintenance access," she murmurs. Most of the staff don't even know it's still connected. The crawl space is tight and suffocating. Mold and dust cling to the air. Each creak beneath them feels like a betrayal. Crawl space tension. As they crawl forward, Lena's voice breaks the silence. "What if they find out you helped me?" Amira doesn't hesitate. They will. That's why this has to work the first time. They finally emerge into the dim boiler room. Pipes hiss, and the scent of rust and oil fills their lungs. Ami, ambushed. Then, freeze! The word crashes into the room like a bullet. They turn sharply. Daniel steps out from the shadows, flanked by 2 security guards. His face is calm, cold, almost entertained. "You know what I hate more than liars, Lena? Ungrateful ones." He turns his gaze to Amira. "And interns who think they're better than the system that hired them." Lena, trembling, speaks with a voice laced in heartbreak. "You said you loved me." Daniel's smirk deepens. "Loved you? Come on, Lena. Be honest. You were just happy someone like me noticed you. That's what this was really about." Her lip quivers, but she doesn't look away. She stands her ground. Daniel steps forward slowly, each movement calculated. "You're not going anywhere, not tonight." He turns to Amira, eyes narrowing. "And you'll make a lovely case study in compliance failure. You thought you could outsmart me?" Aftermath, back to isolation. They're dragged through the halls like prisoners of war. This time, no soft voices, no therapy talk, no warnings, just silence. They're thrown into a barren room, a single mattress each. The door slams shut. No window, no clock, no voices. Only the sound of their breathing in the dark. Amira sits curled up, arms wrapped around herself, trembling. But in the folds of her uniform, hidden away, is a small USB stick. She hasn't lost it yet, not even close. Hours pass. The door creaks open under the dim pulse of the overhead light. Lena blinks, her body weak, her mind fraying. A new guard stands in the doorway, broad-shouldered, emotionless. Lena weakly asks, "Where's Daniel?" No answer. He grabs her arm with force, yanking her to her feet. Amira tries to rise, but a brutal kick from the guard doubles her over in pain. Lena stumbles barefoot, her body aching as he drags her down a corridor she's never seen before. Every footstep echoes in her chest like a countdown. Lena, panicked. "What is this? What are you doing?" The hallway seems endless. Lena's breath shortens. Her fear spirals. They reach a locked utility room. The guard shoves her inside and slams the door behind them. Lena, screaming, "No! Don't touch me!" He steps toward her, unbuckling his belt with a mechanical chill. His expression is blank, detached, like it's just part of the job. Lena backs against the wall, wild-eyed, trembling. Just then, a sudden clatter breaks the moment. In the doorway, a janitor, older, worn by time and life, stands frozen. He sees the scene. The guard turns, annoyed. "Mind your business." Then the old janitor walked away as, in that shot moment, Lena is able to stand guard against him. Amira in tears, feeling guilty for putting Lena in her current situation. Then the door creaks open. It hadn't latched properly. During the guard's struggle with Lena, he'd failed to lock it. Mira finds her down the hall. Footsteps echo softly, careful and deliberate. The guard turns, but it's too late. Amira swings a long, metal dustpan handle with both hands. The heavy aluminum end collides with the back of the guard's skull. He drops instantly unconscious before he even hits the ground. Lena gasps, her breath shaky, eyes locked on Amira, who stands panting, trembling from adrenaline. "Told you we're in this together," Amira says, voice quiet but firm. Lena hugs her tightly. They both look down at the guard's limp body. A ring of keys dangles from his belt. Clink. Lena grabs them without hesitation. No words are exchanged, none are needed. They sprint barefoot down the corridor, the cold concrete slapping under their feet. Red emergency lights flash overhead. The building's power has been unreliable for days. They reach a door. Click, unlocked. Then another. Click. Somewhere deeper in the facility, an alarm begins to whine. "They'll come. We have seconds," Lena says breathlessly. "Then we don't waste them," Amira replies without looking back. They burst through a back exit into the frigid night air, swallowed by trees and darkness. Behind them, the wail of sirens grows louder, but ahead lies freedom, or something close enough to die trying for. Elsewhere in the facility, Daniel sits in a dim office, swirling a glass of whiskey. A monitor flickers on, revealing hallway footage. Two figures, running, free. His face hardens as he stands, rage rising. "You ungrateful little," he mutters, then hurls the glass into the wall. Shards explode, a photo of his orchard wedding cracked beneath the impact. He stares at it for a beat. "After everything I gave you, after everything I erased. This is how you thank me," he says quietly. Then he picks up the phone. "Activate lockdown. No mercy. She doesn't leave these woods alive." Lena and Amira dash through the trees, the forest floor uneven and wild. Sirens wail behind them. Dogs bark. Shouts echo. But the cold air tastes like hope. Their lungs burn, feet sting, hearts pound like war drums. "Where are we going? We can't outrun all of them," Lena pants. "We're not going to. I have a car. Half a mile from here. Hidden. Emergency plan," Amira answers, not missing a step. Lena stumbles, stunned. "You planned for this?" Always prepare for the worst, especially when you're dealing with people like Daniel. They break through the tree line onto a narrow, overgrown path. Amira scans the woods, then pulls back a camouflage tarp buried in leaves, revealing a dusty black SUV, almost invisible. She tosses Lena the keys and rushes to the back, revealing a stash inside. Burner phones, a loaded revolver wrapped in cloth, a satellite map, fake IDs, first aid, extra clothes. "You were ready for war," Lena murmurs, amazed. "I was raised by people who fought it in silence for generations." "I just knew it'd find me one day," Amira says, loading supplies. Lena's voice softens as realization dawns. Your family, Amira nods. My great-grandparents housed runaways during the civil rights era. They didn't fight with guns, they fought with guts and grit. I carry that. Suddenly, headlights flash in the distance. Lena freezes. Get in! Amira snaps. They jump in. The engine groans, then roars to life. As the SUV speeds off, a bullet shatters the back window, narrowly missing Amira. Drive! 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 Lena screams. Amira grips the wheel tight, weaving through potholes and fallen logs, her face calm, her knuckles white. The road whines and jerks. Lena clutches her side, bleeding from a grazing wound. We're never going to be safe, are we? She asks, gritting her teeth. Amira doesn't flinch. Not until we expose them. Not until we make the world see what's happening in Mercer. She presses harder on the gas. And I promise you, we will. The black SUV barrels down an isolated road, trees flashing past like shadows from a nightmare. Inside, Amira clutches the wheel, her knuckles pale. Beside her, Lena, injured but alert, glances into the side mirror. Is that? Lena says, panic in her voice. Headlights appear in the distance, gaining fast. It's a blacked-out pickup truck, its monstrous grille gleaming like fangs in the dark. No, he found us, Amira mutters under her breath. In the pickup truck, Daniel drives like a man possessed, jaw clenched, eyes burning. A half-empty bottle of whiskey rattles in the passenger seat, but his hands are steady. He presses the pedal harder, chasing the red taillights ahead like prey. You really thought you could run, Lena? With her, he growls to himself. He taps a button on the dashboard, and a walkie-talkie crackles to life. Block the east exit. They're on Route 7, no mistakes. A cold male voice replies, Yes, sir. No mistakes. Amira swerves, trying to lose Daniel, but he stays locked in, relentless. He pulls close enough that his truck kisses their bumper. Lena screams as Amira jerks the wheel, sending them down a dirt-side road. He's insane! He's not letting us go, Lena says, furious. Then we stop running, Amira replies, focused. She slams the brakes, fishtailing into a clearing surrounded by thick woods. He wants to see us afraid. Let's show him something else, she says coldly, handing Lena a revolver. I've never, Lena begins, her hands shaking. Just point and pull if it comes to that, Amira instructs. Daniel's truck roars in, spotlight sweeping the woods. He steps out slowly, shotgun over his shoulder, wearing a twisted smirk. Lena, you ungrateful little stray, look what you've done. Lena steps forward from behind the SUV. This time she's not shaking. You hunted me like an animal. You were mine. You were safe. And now? Daniel laughs bitterly. He cocks the shotgun. Now I gotta clean up. Suddenly, Amira flanks him from behind and whacks his leg with a tire iron. He stumbles, the shotgun firing into the air. Lena raises the revolver, trembling. Do it, Amira urges. You don't get to decide who I belong to, Lena says tearfully but fiercely. She fires. The bullet hits Daniel in the shoulder, sending him collapsing backward. He groans, grabbing at the wound. Not dead, but down. Amira grabs the walkie from his belt. Mercer County's days are numbered, she says. The SUV is now parked deep in the Appalachian backwoods, concealed under a camouflage tarp. Morning fog curls low across the pine trees. The girls are safe, for now. Inside the cabin, Amira paces with a phone in hand. No service. Lena lies on the floor, her head bandaged. She stares at the ceiling, numb. What if this doesn't end? What if Mercer covers it up like they always do? Lena asks quietly. Then we don't go to Mercer, Amira replies. She pulls a hard drive out of her duffel, marked with duct tape. Evidence, 1964 to now. This has decades of proof, murders, payoffs, whistleblowers who disappeared. How did you even get that? Lena asks. Amira hesitates. My grandfather was part of a secret coalition inside the bureau, until he vanished. Weeks earlier, Amira had snuck into an abandoned field office. Inside, locked behind rusted filing cabinets, were boxes stamped confidential, sealed in blood-colored wax. She took it all. Her grandfather's voice echoes in a recording. If you're hearing this, it means Mercer hasn't changed. Don't bring this to the law. Bring it to the people. Back in the present, Amira looks at Lena. I know someone, a journalist who got fired for asking too many questions. If we reach her, this goes viral. Then let's go viral, Lena says, firm. They sneak into Madison, a nearby city. Amira wears a hoodie. Lena's hair is dyed and cut short. They arrive at a shabby apartment, knock twice, then once. The door opens to reveal a woman. eyes sharp as razors. Lena had sent her anonymous tips after getting fired. They had met before, though Clara hadn't expected to see another woman fighting the same battle she began years ago. "You brought it?" Clara asks. Amira hands her the hard drive. "You realize this could bring down half the county, right? Judges, cops, hell, a sitting congressman?" Tasha says as she scans the files. "We're counting on it," Lena replies calmly. Clara uploads the files to a secure underground press channel. Journalists from across the country join a private feed. Screenshots flooding in. Names, videos, whistleblower letters. Surveillance photos of Lena. One photo shows Daniel shaking hands with Mercer's sheriff, captioned, "Mercer County's Crown Prince." The internet explodes with different hashtags. Mercer cover, up justice for Lena. Expose Daniel Hale, Mercer files, media vans swarm Mercer. Protesters chant outside the courthouse. Federal agents begin arriving in unmarked cars. In a county lockup, Daniel, cuffed to a bed, screams as he watches the live stream. "You think they'll believe her over me? I built this county," he snarls. The nurse just stares, silent, judgmental. At dawn, Lena sits on the porch with Amira. Both are exhausted, but breathing, alive. "You think it's really over?" Lena asks. "Not over," Amira replies softly, "but the silence is." Lena nods, tears quietly rolling down her face. Sometimes your night isn't white. Sometimes she's a stranger with a scar and a plan. Sometimes survival isn't just about running. It's about choosing not to be afraid ever again. Behind every quiet home is a story. Some are beautiful, others are buried in the cellar. If you want more haunt in a real story like this, hit like and follow.